All right, for this section, chapter B, section 3, converting between fractions and decimals, I will let you use a calculator for a portion of this. So if you have one, that's great. If you have a phone, you could use the calculator on your phone. That might help you out a little bit in this section. Let's get started. Converting fractions and decimals. The first vocabulary word that you need to know is what a terminating decimal means. Terminate means to end. So a terminating decimal is a decimal that ends. It has an end to it. It doesn't repeat. So examples would be 1.5, negative 0.25, 10.825. Those would all be terminating decimals. They all end at a certain point. A repeating decimal. A repeating decimal is just how it sounds. It is a decimal that has a pattern that repeats. Examples would be negative 1.3333, and the 3 continues on. You can write it as a negative 1 point, and the only thing that's repeating is the 3, so you put a bar above the 3 to say that it's repeating, so you don't have to continually write those 3's out. Here we have 0.151515. So you're going to have 0.15 is what the repeating pattern is. So you're going to have the bar above the 1.5 to show that it is repeating. Okay, let's look at an example. Write negative 2 1/4 as a decimal. I would first change it to an improper fraction. If you have a calculator, you can use it at this section. But change it to an improper fraction. So 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, so you have a negative 9/4. And then you would divide that out. The top number is being divided by the bottom number, so you have 9.00 divided by 4. If you divide that out, you're going to get a 2.25. But remember, it's negative, so this would be a negative 2.25. So negative 2 1/4 is the same as negative 2.25 as a decimal. And then I just tell you here, after you change it to an improper fraction, you could just use your calculator to divide negative 9 divided by 4, and you'll get negative 2.25. Another example, write 5/11 as a decimal. So you're going to divide using long division. I've shown you how that works out here. So your top number is being divided by your bottom number. So I have 5.00 divided by 11. My decimal goes up to the top of the bar. 11 goes into 50 4 times. That's 44. I get 6 left over. I bring down a 0. 11 times 5 is 55. I get 5 left over. Bring down a 0. And it keeps repeating the 4, 5, 4, 5. So this one would be 0.45 repeating as the decimal. And you could do that on your calculator as well. Little fact here, terminating decimals have denominators that are a power of 10. So if you're looking at this is a decimal, 0.48. You say it as 48 hundredths because this is the hundredths place, that's where it ends. If you're saying 48 hundredths, you've just said a decimal. So the fraction, or a fraction, not a decimal. So 48 hundredths is a fraction. So it's 48 over 100. And then you can just reduce it by dividing top and bottom by 4 to get your simplified fraction of 12/25. So place value is going to come into play here for these. So think of it this way. If it's in the tenths place, your denominator is going to be 10. If it's in the hundredths place, your denominator is going to be 100. If it's in the thousandths place, your denominator is going to be 1,000. So here we go. Write negative 0.26 as a fraction in simplest form. Simplest form means you need to reduce it. 0.26 is 26 hundredths. You're going to write it as 26 over 100, and then see if you can simplify. So the only number I could take out of both was dividing by 2 on top and bottom. You must divide by the same number on top and bottom to reduce. So I get 13/50ths as my simplified fraction. Let's try some of these out. You can use a calculator if you want, or you can just divide them out. Just make sure you pause the video before I give the answers. So here you have negative 17/40ths, negative 7/9, and 1 5/6. Go ahead and change those to a decimal. Pause the video if you're not done, because I'm going to go ahead and go through the answers on this one. So number one, 17/40ths, negative 17/40ths. You would just do negative 17 divided by 40. You're going to get negative 0.425. Negative 7/9, you're going to divide negative 7 by 9. And you'll get negative 0.7, and the 7 is repeating. So if you got it on your calculator, it would look like that. 1 5/6 is going to be 1.83. 3 is repeating on this one. Hopefully you got those right. Let's go on to the next type. Write the decimal as a fraction in simplest form. So we have 0.9 and we have 0.312. Think of place value for these. So this is 9/10ths and this is 312 thousandths. Pause the video if you need to, otherwise I'm going to go through the answers. 9/10ths would be exactly that, 9/10ths. That is in simplest form. This is 312 thousandths. That's how you would say it, so you write it that way. 312 over 1,000. And I divided by 8 on top and bottom here to get 39 over 125. That was the simplest I could go. So hopefully you got those right. Your assignment for Chapter B, Section 3 is textbook, page 565, 14 through 34, or bigideasmath.com, Chapter B, point 3, practice. You can use your calculator, and if you do the online, I'll let you check your answer up to 2 times. Okay, good luck.